Water button.
Sure.
Sorry.
The
You
button.
move the water button. Thank you.
Okay, so here it's from the previous class. When I was demonstrating this EC2 creation to previous class, what I did is I created like one sample keypad. Okay, so in this class, what I did is I just selected the existing one because this step is that we don't care. We're not using it anymore. And then like what students ask is like the first thing, if you follow everything of this step, like it will take some time. That's the first thing. And then some students like get confused steps, something like this. Here you created something and how do I create this, right? So, and what I prefer, again, the bottom line is refer this screenshot, use the screenshots just for your reference. And I prefer following the recording. Like if I really want to follow something, then I prefer following the recording instead of this sentence. Okay, so that's first thing. But again, like you have to, like you should understand the bigger picture first, and just like what you need to do and how it's from. And then after that, like there are some steps that mentioned in here, and these instructions will give you all the informations you need. Okay, so this one is. Okay, we could have another 20 minutes session, not that much. Okay, there are different types of services in AWS. If you click on this, then they categorize the services into these groups. And I picked some core services, like some services you need to know. So first one is compute type services, where this is where you run your application. It can compute, it has CPU, so it can do processing and run your application. EC2, this is, we already know it's virtual servers in the cloud. Lambda, we have seen this, is running code without thinking about servers. It's function as a service model. And Elastic Beanstalk, with this one, you upload your code and it provisions underlying resources for you. Under the hood, this one creates virtual machines under the hood. Elastic container service. Elastic container service. It allows you to run containerized applications. And if you have Kubernetes applications, that's also very popular. Like it's also popular, it's out there. If you want to run Kubernetes applications, then there is a service for running that, EKS. This both for, and then one thing I wanted to mention in this slide is these cloud providers, they support those all those popular technologies, such as Kubernetes. It's like popular and they support the MongoDB. It's supported in AWS and Kafka, DMQ. These are the popular technologies and they all are supported. That's the bottom line here. And please get familiar with this EC2 and this service abbreviation and its corresponding icons. I will start drawing some diagrams, maybe starting next first. When you or if you go to a work and then if you look at the architecture diagram, you will see something like this. So get familiar with this. Next type of service is so now we have our application, and our application stores data somewhere, such as like databases, and these are database services in the AWS cloud. First thing you have is the relational database service, where you can run MySQL, Oracle, MySQL, those popular databases. And DynamoDB is cloud native and the most powerful database in the world right now. It supports trillions of transactions a day, like hyperscaling. So there's NoSQL database, and this, when you have a cloud native application written in Lambda, Lambda is used in conjunction with this DynamoDB. This is also super hyperscaling, also super performant. Reading data from DynamoDB, its latency is 2-digit milliseconds. It's similar to reading from cache, reading from memory. So it's super performant, and you can even put some caching server in front of that, and then you can even achieve microsecond latency. So that's there. If you are familiar with Redis, is there anyone who are familiar with Redis? Okay. This is also popular. So basically, if you're looking for a job as Java developer, then like this is popular. This different Hibernate has caching. Like popular interview questions for Java developer is, what is Hibernate first level caching, second level caching, something like that. And then before, okay, so I'll show you here why it's good. So you have database in here, database, and then you write your application in Java, and you call this, and it returns you a response. You did this in class at work. Now there is a way to improve this performance. Okay, there's an improved using caching. Caching is like it's a layer that remembers those, like remembers data for a certain amount of time in memory. So then what people do is the application, and then they make a query. In the query, they put something like Redis in front. So if there is a cache, like it's requesting data in a table, and the data is in cache, in memory, then it returns directly, and it doesn't call the database in here. Okay, so you put Redis, this caching layer, in front of your Redis database. Redis database, I would say, is super slow compared to NoSQL databases. So how you can boost this, like here. And at my last job also, we had MySQL database in here. And again, what I would say is Redis databases, they are used in conjunction with Redis in real-life organizations. And in cloud, it not only improving performance, it plays another role that I would explain now. That also like tells you about cloud pricing models. So Redis is here, and it will make a request. If there is data in the cache, it will return response. If there's nothing in the cache, then it will make API call to here. It will call the database, retrieve your data, and send it back to your application, and it would read, it would cache that data like for a certain amount of time. Let's say maybe 15 minutes. It would cache it, and it would pull new data. It's not a bunch of components you can do. In AWS, in the cloud, what happens is that this is what happens. When you make API call to a service, it chops. Period. When you call the API, if you call the service, then it chops. So what in the cloud, what you would want is to reduce this number of costs. That's why also these caching technologies are popular. So now in traditional approach, like we would say like we use it for one reason, performance. But now in the cloud, it could also play a big role for reducing cost. And then also the bottom line here is every API call costs. Every API Oh, costs. Okay, this is 3 points that I wanted to make. So that's what Redis is. So Redis and Memcache is similar technology. And you can put in front of your representative database, so you can improve the. Not only that, I think 2 years ago, they created world's first in-memory database that is stored in memory, not hard drive. What we learned maybe 10 years ago is if you store something in memory, it's lost after refresh. But now this cloud broke this tradition, and then you can have this in-memory database, permanent storage in memory. So that is also you can use for in-memory database. You can also use Redis. DocumentDB. This is MongoDB in the AWS cloud. It launches instance and then you can. And DynamoDB, that's the cache of this. So networking, content delivery. We will talk about VPC tomorrow, Virtual Private Cloud. And why we are talking this is when we launch an EC2 instance, we need an IP address. Otherwise, there is no way to connect to. And how do you get an IP address? That's what this VPC is. You create your VPC, you create your subnets. In subnet, you create your EC2 instance, and essentially like EC2 is getting that IP address from this VPC. So it's your cloud network in the cloud. It's just like your home network or the cloud network at any organization. And managing VPC is also similar to managing traditional infrastructure. If you have some traditional networking experience, then you can understand this easily. Concepts are similar. If you have domain name and you wanna manage and there is something called Global Accelerator. So this service you can stack on top of your application that improves your application performance by using AWS Global Network. And there is something called Direct Connect. So this is used to connect your on-premise server with the cloud. CloudFront, this is content delivery network. So currently we have these files in S3. You're back. We created this. And here we have some static content. So currently it's stored in US region. And if someone hits this website from, let's say, other continent, Asia, Europe, then who would access it? They need to go to this US region. But this is, since it's just static content, you can just cache that resource somewhere close to your user. That's what content delivery is. So CDN is. It's basically a CDN network. Content. It's general term. You can look for it, and basically it caches static files, images all over the world. And API gateway, it helps you to build and manage deploy APIs. And that's a popular technologies. And Rapidly, it looks like this: CloudFront, API gateway. So these two are the main ones that we will use a lot in this class. Okay, application integration services. This is something I will discuss on Wednesday on this SNS SQLs. I will talk about in more detail. For now, let's say that you have application A and B or microservice 1 and 2. when you connect these two services, if you put something like queue, then your application will become fault tolerant, and it can increase throughput on the consumer, and also it can decrease latency drastically. So, like if you have this queue in between your, like you can directly connect those two applications, like we did in our React app. React app is directly calling our backend. There is nothing in between. But if you introduce something like queue, then you can make it more performant, increase throughput, and fault tolerance. I'll talk about these details.
Can we use lambdas to create microservices?
Yes, that's what people. Sure. And simple notification service, it can send messages to people or application. If you want to send emails from your application to your clients, then you can use this simple notification service. We would use this a lot in this class. Simple queue service. It's a queue service that you can send a message, and like it's in between the application. One will send a message, the other one will consume it. Step functions. For now, you can think of this as coordinator. When you build cloud native applications, you would have resources everywhere in the console. It gets hard to manage those many small resources. You need one centralized place to like drag and drop and then orchestrate them together like how. So that's what step function is. I will demonstrate this in the coming classes, but for now, this is popular. And event bridge is this is how people are building these trending event-driven applications. Okay, it's similar to like these are SNS SQS event bridge. These are similar technologies. So this SNS event bridge, what they do is they send message to something called topic or event bus, and that event bus is responsible for sending those messages to other applications. So basically, you have something in the middle. And then you might be one like event-driven architecture. This is trending architecture. We had monolith, we have microservices, and now it's event-driven. So what event-driven is, if you are using these technologies listed here and Lambda, then that's basically what event-driven is. Yeah, people build event-driven applications even without realizing it. Here, SNS SQS event bridge. Okay, lastly, some other important services. IAM, access management service. If you want to connect to services, you would use it. And simple storage service where you can store anything. Cloud formation and cloud development kit or CDK. So it automates cloud resource creation and management, or you can think of this as CI/CD. If you want to have user module, user modules, now you don't need to build that yourself. Instead, you can use service called Cognita, where you can store user information. If you want to add some password policy, you can do that. If you want to add OAuth, Facebook login, Google login, if you want to have remember device or factor authentication, they all provided by these chips. There's nothing to do on your side. Token generation, everything is here. Okay, that's it. There is our like seriously we just discussed. So any questions? Let's just giving you some context about the services, and then we will deep dive into these services one by one. The coming days. It's just intro, just give you some context, and getting familiar with these terms, these abbreviations, these icons I would say it's the first biggest step for learning this class. You just get familiar with this, then yeah, it's a big step. Okay, that's it. There's assignment. Today I wonder like if we need to record this assignment section because those DE teachers they might come up with their own assignments. Okay, good, very good. Then we are done with today.
I'm ending tomorrow.
Mm.
Lesson 1 will end tomorrow.
It ended now.
Ended now.
Yeah.
Usually they show some slides at the end, like connecting with the.
That I haven't done yet.
Oh,
So that we will do it later.
later. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Do it later. We will attend
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'll take the
Sure.
lead from you. Thank you.
That's true.
Okay, assignment.
Students complained that
That's good.
project is good now. Okay. There is the lights that's not even important.
Okay, there are 3 goals. Practice ES, pass, and open up your personal account. That's another one. And in your AWS Academy account, today I would make sure that everyone has access to this Academy. And how optimization will go is, I will publish assignments, and the day after, I will come over every single student. I will check your progress, and that's how you would get feedback on your assignment. If you have questions, like while you are doing your assignment, if you have a question, write it down. When I come over to your desk, then you can answer. That's how optimizations will go. So in AWS Academy account, spin up an EC2 instance. And when you do that, make sure that you opened up this port 80, this panel, and then select this lab instance profile. And then just hit create and you would have your instance. And after that, you would configure that server as web server. So select the instance and connect to that using session manager and run these commands. And then that's it. Then it would be the web server, so basically something I demonstrated, and create a lambda that returns an array of strings, and then call that API in React, or yeah, just do it in React. It's simple, and deploy that React application on S3. Okay, so this is here, and once you are done with, then create your own account. So here some students ask me like how to create a AWS account. This is nothing technical, it's just similar to signing up for any website. So this is, and in your personal account, once you created that, do 3 things. Enable multi-factor authentication for the root user, and create an admin group with admin policy, and create a user for yourself in that group, and always use that IAM user for this AWS access. Okay, what does it mean? This is best practice to do this. Let's say once you created AWS account, you would have username and password. If you lose that username and password somehow, then there is no way to recover this. Even AWS, I don't think they can do that, right? If you lose your root account, then you will lose everything. Best practice is create an IAM user with this admin permission. Admin permission means that IAM user, like that user can do anything, just like a root user. Now let me tell you, like once, let's say now that user will have username and password. If you lose that username and password, then what you can do is log in as root user and just disable that user. Okay, that's why it's important. So this does get started. For that reason, explain this. And then set up a billing alarm. So you would not get surprising bill at the end of the month. And then there is step-by-step instruction for this. And this one I would ask GSA to create this for a reference, but this is something, but try it yourself first. Okay? It's like everywhere, it's not that difficult. And then I can help you print. And then maybe I can share that step by step. But this is everywhere in the internet. So as I mentioned, there is one spot for GSA. Okay. If you are interested in, send me your resume. Send me your resume. And also, there is one GSA test on Sakai. Just fill that out. That will take 30 minutes. And then I will choose one student from that simple quiz, and then your resume. What else? Okay, I think that's it for all from me. Okay, do we need to submit anything? Oh yeah, that's the one okay, this is the last thing I want. So you will submit one PDF. I'll show you how it looks like from previous class. Resources. Okay, sample assignment submission. Sakai is open, you can upload. So basically, while you are doing your lab, take many screenshots. It's for today's assignment. While you are doing this, you don't have to take every single step, just the main ones. For example, this one. And then here, the web is working, the IP was here. Just submit me something in PDF that shows you did this, like you did all these steps. And yeah, that's what you would submit.
We have already done.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You just maybe just take a screenshot of what you. It's not that hard. It's not that like you. Like next time, I think you would take screenshots, right? This one you can skip it. That's fine. So here again, this student did this many steps, and again, this is for example, he did that for sure. This. And then here, user creation. So here, he is creating a user in his account. The multi-factor authentication, this is something you can enable easily. This is what I was talking about, IAM user, like create a group. So first, what you do is create a group. It's creating a user and call username is admin. And that user can access AWS console. And that user also will receive tokens that you can connect to your personal account using this CLI. Okay, and then generating password for that. And then here adding that. So now he is creating the user called administrator. And then here he is attaching that admin policy to that user. And now that username is here. user password is here. And if you use this in AWS console, then you have this permission. Okay, that's what this second last task is. Okay, please do not share this secret key access key with anyone, not even include this. Like if you click on show and send it to me, then you think that I can like spin up huge instances in your on your account, right? And do some maybe cryptograph, maybe coins, something. Like, so do not ever share this with anyone. So here, like this, it's not showing the secret, which is fine. Okay, that's it.